there is one thing that is common amongst all of us, and that's that we all seek wisdom, education, knowledge, and understanding. There are so much benefits that come with reading books. You improve your memory, it expands your vocabulary, and not to mention, it's free entertainment. I'm going to get straight into book number 1, which is The EMyth by Michael E. Gerber. And I love this book. It identifies the 3 types of people that start their own business: the entrepreneur, the manager, and the technician. And we all have a bit of each of those in all of us. Now, Michael believes that people are successful in business because of their insatiable need to know more. And therefore, they adapt with the change that's needed and become successful individuals. He talks about the entrepreneur, where they're innovative, they're creative, but they're starters more than finishers. They come up with the grand plan, the strategy, and create new ideas to penetrate new markets, to come up with these fantastic ideas. And there's a little bit of entrepreneur in all of us. Then you have the manager, who is the person that gets things done. They're pragmatic, they're methodical, and they can bring order to the business. They're fantastic to have on your team because where the entrepreneur comes up with this amazing idea, the manager will implement that idea. Where the entrepreneur craves control, the manager craves order. Where the entrepreneur invariably sees opportunity, the manager invariably sees problems. So it's the tension between the entrepreneur's vision and the manager's pragmatism that creates the synthesis from which all good works are born. And then you have the technician. They get things done. You just say, this is what I need doing, and they're the one to implement that straight away. They tend to work on one thing at a time. They dare not try and do too much at the same time because they know that is crazy and not for them. So they kind of stay in their lane. These 3 traits are in all of us, and you tend to have one driving more than the other. So it was great to know this because he talks about not only just knowing these 3 different types of people inside of you, but then knowing how to work to the best of that type of character. So if you're an entrepreneur, knowing that you need the manager, you need the technician on your side to make things work. That is a fantastic book, and I totally love it. Now that's a goodie, and it's a must read. Next on my list is Go for No, and I absolutely love this book. This book got me a lot of money when something was only worth a little bit of money, and I was going for no until I was able to get that yes. And it really, really is a short and sweet read. Now this book is fantastic if you're in a role for sales mainly, but in saying that, this can work in everyday life as well. And it looks at how failing and failure are 2 different things, and that's core because people are failing thinking that they're a failure, and they are not. So it's keeping things in proportion to what's really going on, keeping yourself in a reality check. It also talks about the importance of celebrating success and celebrating failure. I'll tell you a story. When I first got here, there was a gentleman who was buying houses, and I'd only bought 1 at the time, and he'd bought 10. And he'd bought so many houses, but what happened is we had the same builder, and that builder messed up all 10 of his houses and nearly messed up the one that I had. Well, in a way, he kind of did. So it was in that moment I realized that in my failure to acquire many properties, I actually had success because I did not have a huge setback of 10 properties to now fix. I only had a setback of the 1, and that could then put me in a driving position to go harder for the next 9. So that was a big key learning for me, that not everything that first of all, don't compare yourself. There is success and failure. So the ultimate message in this book, which is fantastic, that yes is the destination and no is how you get there. If I had a mic, I would drop the mic on that one. The next book I have is The 7 Habits of Highly Successful People by Stephen Covey. And this book is the bomb. It's so good. And I'm a big Raven fan for this book. And let me tell you something. Do not be afraid to buy audios and listen to audios if you don't have time to be reading. Books are great because you can put your notes in and stuff and go back and refer to them. And I love them for that too. But don't be limited to not reading at all if you don't have the time to read. You can just use alternatives such as audio to get the same result. Now this book teaches you exactly what it says on the tin, and it relates to all aspects of life and has relatable content and some really good stories. he says is, first, build your vision. Build your victory by being proactive. The second thing is to have a set of values and principles that deeply touch who you are. And only after that, build synergy with people around you by listening with intent. So, seek first to understand and then to be understood. But it says in the Bible that you have 2 ears and 1 mouth. And I'm sure it's not set up like that for no reason. Ultimately, think win-win. This book really breaks down and helps you how to organize your mindset to achieve your goal efficiently and effectively. The way this book is written, no one should struggle to read it because it's so easy to understand. And I highly recommend this book to anyone. Book number 3 is Money by Floyd Mayweather. This book is fantastic. It's more for the guys, but the girls should be reading it because you know what? It is such a motivation. If you got men around you, you want to be encouraging them to be going hard. The way how this man has gone hard in this book. None of that softy business. Thinking like, oh my God, what does she mean by softy business? Well, you ask me and I'll tell you. This book will awaken the sleeping giant in you. It's a beast. Floyd Mayweather is one of the most professional, successful boxers of all time with a 50-0 victory win. 50-0. He's never lost a fight. And this man's only in his 40s. Or is he 50? I'm sure he's in his 40s. So this book takes you through his journey, growing up in poverty, where he was nearly shot as a baby when his father used him as a shield for robbers who came into his house to kill his father. Well, that's what the book says. That's so funny, I don't even know why I'm laughing. And it takes you through that journey all the way up into his success. The highlights in this book is this man's determination is like no other. He trained like a warrior, like his life was on the line. And nothing could get in the way of that. He sought guidance from the right people when he needed it. So he knew that I need help here. Or when help came and was giving him advice, he took the right advice. And that was key because now he's still the owner of all royalties for his business. He owns all rights to his boxing materials, his promotions, his merchandise, his tickets. I mean, everything Floyd, anything that he is involved in, he gets 100% of the kickbacks. Now, if you read this book, actually, there's an element in there where his father went to jail and this other guy adopted him. Now, if you've read this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, it's a similar type of setup where he had a dad and then a stepdad. Similar to Robert Kiyosaki, Floyd Mayweather, his father went to jail and this young man adopted him as his own and raised him. He even lived with him for a period of time, still while boxing, and that is where he got a lot of his professional advice from because this gentleman was a business owner, not this. The guy who was raising Floyd Mayweather was a businessman. So it just goes to show that when you surround yourself with the right people, you will get the right advice. So it is good to look at who you're getting your advice from because let me tell you, honey, if you haven't got nothing to your name, I'm not really trying to listen to what you're saying. Well, depends actually. I shouldn't say that because then that sounds terrible, but you know what I mean. So this book for me was a huge eye-opener because it shows you how you can make something from absolutely nothing and still be successful in life. But it's all down to having the right attitude and be disciplined enough to enforce the right behaviors within yourself. Now, Floyd Mayweather, he loves women, he loves money, he just be rolling all in it. And, you know, there's probably a better projection he could have to have a better impact on the younger boys coming up behind him. But one thing I do like is his attitude towards success, his attitude towards his own health, his own mindset in terms of, you know, I've got to be the best person I can be. My body needs to be healthy. I need to be in tip-top shape. I need the massages. I need to be flexible, fluid. So when I'm fighting, I'm the best. And he's got such a cocky attitude. I'm not gonna lie, when you're reading the book, right? When you put down that book, you walk around thinking like, I'm a Muhammad Ali. Y'all can't touch me. You know what I mean? It gives you that attitude. It's a fantastic read. And if you haven't read it, Go and read it. And also, if you've got any, other family members, particularly boys, I think it's a great book for boys to read, younger boys who may be growing up, those in the household. Give it to them, let them read it. It's a fantastic read, honestly. I don't remember if they're swearing in it though, so y'all have a quick skim, because I don't advise giving children books that has swearing in it, if you can avoid that. The next book is by Barack Obama, called The Audacity of Hope. Now, this book is fantastic, and it's a very, very good read, let me tell you. It's a golden nugget. It's the most intelligent, straight up, optimistic, fair dealing book I have ever read, particularly by a politician. In this book, Barack really shows his intelligence by the way he communicates in various topics such as religion, family, the media, the mindset of politicians, the working life, leadership, managing a country, and so much more. I love this book particularly, especially for business people, because Barack Obama ran America. He was the president of the United States. And like business, there's so many compartments to work on simultaneously. You need strong opinion, choice, and decisiveness in all areas with the ability to lead. And in this book, although it's pre-presidency, he does exactly just that. So for me, this book is inspirational, it's funny, and it's a great read. So if you want something from a really strong leader, then Barack Obama, The Audacity of Hope is a must read. Book number 5 is The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari by Robin Sharma. Now, I read this book when I was on an airplane on the way back from Turkey, and I was so engrossed when we did the changeover that I missed my flight. I missed the connecting flight. Which is so annoying. I love this book because it's in line with my idea of finding joy and escaping the prison of materialism. So the book is about a story of a guy called Julian who's living an unbalanced life. He's a lawyer and fully indulging in the finest restaurants, loads of money. He's kind of doing a lot of backhanders with criminals, and his life finally catches up to him. And he's left with no choice but to make a change and escape the American dream of riches, money to consume whatever you want, when you want, how you want, with who you want, and turn from focusing on his physical needs to focusing on his spiritual needs. So his journey is one from America to India, finding himself in the Himalayas mountains where he meets monks who give him the keys to a life-changing odyssey to an ancient culture. So this book, I absolutely love this book because it helps you value time. It just reminds you of the important things. It helps you to see the important things, bring them right back into your focus, and live fully, following your life vision, living your life's mission, and give you a positive and joyful mentality. A must read for sure. And then I have a bonus book, a bonus number 6 that I wanted you guys to listen to, because for me this is a big one, and it's one that a lot of people read already, and they already are, fully engaged in it, and it's probably one I'll read for the rest of my life over and over and over again, or just dissecting it the way I have, because it's becoming a complete life changer for me. And this book is the Bible. Now, let me tell you, this book right here is the biggest life changer of all. I would have put this number 1, but I didn't want y'all to tune out, because some people do. But talking to you on a level, this book, why didn't no one tell me about this earlier? I mean, I heard about it earlier, I did about it earlier, but it depends on how people introduce it to you and what your understanding of it is. Because some people just say, yes, it's the Bible, it's the Word of God, you must know the Word of God, therefore read it and follow. And that's good, it's true, but I needed to be a little bit more seduced to read it, I needed a bit more seduction. And now that I have got to a place where I want to give my son the best quality of life possible, not only just him, but myself and my family around me, then I somehow just had an inner spark to want to know more. I wanted to know the truth. I wanted to know where we came from. Why are we here? What's the existence? Because when I was a little girl, about 9, 8, 7, I used to think, why me? Why me? I'm here. Like, why me? I didn't understand how I'm here. Like, what happened there? Because people die. Some people don't even make it. You have women who are having terminations. So how did I make it here? And I could say I'm here, like I'm here. It was just, I don't even know if you can even fathom what I'm trying to say, but I'm trying to say I didn't understand why I was here. If you're not seeking certain things, unworldly things, so not things just of the world, but deeper spiritual information, if you're not seeking that on a daily basis already in line with that, then there's only so much you can raise a child to be an adult. So back home where I'm from in West Africa, aka Jamaica, but West Africa, I just claim the two because you know the Jamaicans came from West Africa. At 10, you start doing things to become a man. They start teaching you how to become a man. If I stand next to my son, he's older than 10 now, but if I stand next to my son, we're almost the same height, okay? So physically, we're already almost the same height. I just need to make sure his mind is sharp enough. So when he's going out into the world where people are seeing 40,000, 50,000 images a day, I've got to be able to help him sift through all of that. What's good, what's bad, what to focus on, what not to focus on. Now, if I don't have a really good foundation myself, I'm talking about real deep spiritual stuff. This is the way things have been done because it's been embedded in us from Adam and Eve days. Then you will then understand the whole reason of a being, why we're here, what we're supposed to be doing. And therefore, when you're giving yourself a guide or your family members a guide or whoever a guide, there's a real spiritual basis to have that information on. Do you see? Not just because that's just the way it is. Okay, well, what is that supposed to mean? So this is the time when you whip out the Bible, you whip it all out, and this is the Old Testament, this is from way back. So the Bible is God's own words of his creation of earth, all of its contents, and humanity. I mean, he's the most powerful living thing. How would you not want to know what the Most High God has planned for you? Right? It's almost like a book of rules. The Bible shows you what the important elements of life are and drives order in your existence. Now, contrary to most beliefs, the Bible is actually not religious. It's not based on religion. However, because it has been adapted and rewritten by Christians, the Romans and other Greeks and so forth, it's now been associated with Christianity. But let me tell you, it is not. So the Old Testament is the original Hebrew Bible called the Torah. And in there's a lot of different books put together. So currently I'm looking at Jacob, Abraham's son, and Jacob had 12 sons known as the 12 tribes of Israel, and I'm reading the first one. And let me tell you something. For those of you who love reality TV and love a bit of drama, there is no drama like this Bible, okay? There are prophets telling their stories, and not only does one prophet tell his story, but he reads the previous prophet's story and tells both of them. Then you've got this prophet who tells the story. Not only does he just tell his story, he reads those two prophets and then tell his. And there's a lot of that, boom, boom, boom. So as you get to read the Bible, you'll realize that there's some books in the New King James Version that actually does not have all of the books of the Bible in there, and they've been taken out for whatever reason, but they've been taken out, and therefore you may not be able to really get the full picture. So I'm reading Reuben, and let me just give you a little snippet of the drama that is in this book. So Reuben, his father was Jacob, okay? Now Jacob was married to Reuben's mother, and he had 4 wives in total, so he had 3 other wives as well as Reuben's mum. Now, Reuben did not like the way that his father loved his other wife called Rachel more than his mother, right? So one day, Reuben was lusting over his wife and went and snuck in her chamber when she came home drunk one day. And rather than be like, oh my God, who the hell are you? Who's this in my chamber? Get out. She's drunk, and they have a rendezvous together, okay? Now, the angel goes and tells the dad what's happened, and the dad is absolutely dismayed, cannot believe it. So he completely drops her off. You gotta go, right? The son, put you on time. I can't even think about looking at you right now. And Reuben has to deal with the repercussions of what he's done, and that is no one talking to him. Now, in the book of Reuben, he's actually telling his story he talks about women quite interestingly, actually, how just to be mindful of them. Be mindful of them, being mindful of the way how they dress themselves, how they present themselves to drag you in, right? And it's a good read because number one, women can teach their sons how to be mindful of seduction, how it works. If you want your son to be focusing on the books, this is great for that. You'll be able to teach your child that this is what happens in seduction. So when he's being seduced, he'll realize it and kind of come out of it. Or it won't be able to be seduced in the first place because his mind's on one thing and the seduction is trying to take him over. He's not being brought over there because you've already focused him over here. Yeah. Same for the women. It allows you to teach females in your family that, listen, when you present yourself a certain kind of way, this is what is happening. Right? You're seducing. You've got to look at the way you're presenting yourself. But that's a whole nother thing. But it's relevant in business. And it's a lesson I had to learn because I've done a lot of networking. I do a lot of networking. And there's times where I've gone out, I've met someone, we've exchanged business cards. I'm sure many women have had this challenge as well. You've exchanged business cards. They say, great, this is what I want to do. I want to invest in property. It'd be fantastic. Let's have a coffee together. Halfway through, when we're connecting after we've met after the event, we're connecting and that coffee then turns into a dinner. But what I realized is that they never were interested in connecting in business. In fact, they were only interested in connecting with me. Right? And that's not what I was here for. So I'd waste a lot of time having meetings that were not going anywhere because that's not where the interest was. And that was quite frustrating for me. So these kind of things now I think are paramount to any person starting out in business, being mindful of how you're presenting yourself. And I think I'm going to do a video on that, on how to dress when you're networking, how to talk when you're networking, how to project yourself, how to be when you're networking. Be mindful of who you're attracting because you're in control of that. You're in control of who you attract. But they don't make it seem like that. This is a fantastic book. Now, other benefits, there are many other benefits for reading the Bible because it gives you truth about who you are. The story starts from Genesis all the way up until Revelations, but you will find out about who you are based on the bloodline of where we come from. It alludes to the progression from the past into the future, giving you exact details of what's happening and likely when it's happening. And you'll see a bit of that in the book Isaiah and Matthew's, telling you about the wars that are going to happen in the future, which is the conflict that we're experiencing right now and the two wars we've already had. Reading the scriptures impregnates you with strength, courage and wisdom, and it gives you hope, it gives you joy, because then you can see a solution through prayer. If you just pray, have faith and believe, then the Most High God moves the world for you to accommodate what exactly it is you want. So there you have it, my 6 books of choice that I would suggest that you read for an amazing life-changing experience, for you to really be fulfilled and start your own journey to success, to life, to happiness, to joy. And that's what we all want: education, knowledge, wisdom, and to be courageous. I challenge you to do that and live today your fullest life. And don't waste no time about worrying about what other people think, because at the end of the day, you are the only person you have to answer for. I hope you enjoyed listening to this video. If you have some books that you read and you think are must-reads, please put them below and I'll be sure to check them out myself, because I love a good read. No matter the topic, no matter what it is, just put them down and tell me, what one was your favorite book out of all of these? Which one do you think you will read next if you haven't read any, and what one do you think you like the most? I look forward to seeing you on another video. Until then, take care. Bye, Investables.